Newsmax stock is all over the news. So in this video, I'm going to be trying to explain what's happening with Newsmax stock and also whether we should buy, right? Whether it's a good opportunity for us. So since Newsmax started trading a staggering 1 day and 5 hours ago, it's up about 1,800%, right? And this is absolutely a crazy move, right? Obviously, because obviously if they knew that there was this kind of demand, they would have priced the stock higher, right? But maybe if they price the stock higher, there would not be this kind of demand, right? So let's go back to it, right? What is Newsmax and what do they do? And should we buy the stock, right? So Newsmax is basically an American television channel owned by Newsmax Incorporated, right? And it's more of like a right-wing and conservative kind of media. And it was endorsed by Donald Trump, right? So this is still the Donald Trump effect, right? You can see this. This whole move is the Donald Trump effect, right? And after they IPO'd, the shares absolutely exploded up, right? So today I'm gonna take a look at some of the facts and then I'll let you guys know what my opinion is, right? So they IPO'd about 7.5 million shares and they gave a lot of private offerings, right? And all the private offerings have a 6 months lockup, right? So you can see that nearly almost the whole IPO amount actually is in stock options, right? These are equity incentive plans, right? Basically stock options. And then there's another few options here. So I just want to say that the float compared to the actual amount of shares is actually a very small amount, right? Because they sold 7.5 million shares and you check out the whole float is about 89 million shares, right? So the float is what? Less than 10% of the shares, right? So this is the first red flag that you should notice with this company, right? Only about 8% of its market cap is trading, right? So when you take a look, it's about a $20 billion market cap, but its effective market cap, right? Actually, it's about, let's say 0.08%. So it's actually about only 1.6 billion, right? So if you ask me whether it can continue to go up, the shares can continue to go up, I have absolutely no idea, right? Because a $1.6 billion market cap doesn't take that much money to move it, right? If retail investors come in with $500 million worth of buying power, you can be assured that these shares are going to go up, right? Especially since there's a lockup for 6 months. You can see that 6 months following the closing of this offering, right, all the officers actually cannot sell, right? So this is my problem with Newsmax, right? When you take a look at the fundamentals, it's actually garbage fundamentals, right? So I think I summed up my thoughts on this post quite well. You can see that I said at this point, people deserve to lose money. They lost $55 million in 2024, right? Q1, Q2 2024 on 80 million of revenue, right? Because obviously we are already in Q2 of 2025, but they filed this about a year back, right? Revenue was 80 million, they lost 55 million on that 80 million, and then the assets are 142 million, and then liabilities are 69 million. So public float is currently 8 to 10% of the whole float, right? So it's a certainty when the 6 months that I was talking about, when insider / anchor shares are unlocked, this is going to dump like 90%, right? So I think this is a bet I'm willing to take, right? From the prices that I posted, right? Not even today's prices, right? So what I'm saying is from the prices I posted, right? From yesterday, what's the closing price? $83, right? It's going to dump 90%, right? So actually, I'm quite confident in that statement, right? So maybe now that it's pumped so much, get more liquidity. I don't know, maybe, but I can assure you the people that bought somewhere here, I would still say they're going to lose 80-90% of their money, right? Because you can see that this is not actually a profitable business. It's basically not trading on fundamentals. That's all you need to know, right? And then the next thing, so why don't we just short it, right? Because you see that, you say that it's so overvalued, why don't you just short it? So first of all, if I short it when it opened at $125, I'll be down 100% on my short, right? So even if something doesn't make sense to you, right, doesn't mean you should short it instantly, right? Sometimes you can just sit on the sideline and do nothing, right? Well, it's highly illiquid. Even though the market cap is 10 billion, effective market cap is around $1 billion, which I said yesterday, this was before the move up, which is still super high compared to what the company is worth. Also, IV on options will kill you, right? IV is implied volatility on options, right? When you buy an option, you're paying for time, implied volatility, and also intrinsic value, right? So if you buy option yesterday, I think today it'll be absolutely worthless already, right? Especially with the surge on it, right? The other thing is, okay, why don't you short? So cost to borrow is 546% annually. There's no way you're going to make money on that, right? Especially add on top of the fact that by now you already lost all your money, right? 100% on your investment. So what do you do when you sell short shares is basically you need to borrow the shares to sell short, and then hopefully you return the valued shares in order to make profits, right? Obviously, if the volatility dies down, there are more shares available. This 546% might go down to 10% or 20%, right? But after GME, right, no one wants to make money through shorting anymore, right? Which is fair enough. I wouldn't short the stock here either, right? Maybe if you give me like 10% or 5% cost to borrow, then I might consider shorting the stock, right? And especially not in huge size, right? Maybe it's like you do it as like 0.5% of your portfolio or something like that, right? When the price doubles again, you can still handle the heat, right? You won't feel like it's so painful that you cannot hold on to your position, right? And that's the other thing, right? Why do you want to take a position where your loss is theoretically infinite? Obviously, I don't think this can go to a $500 billion market cap, right? But your loss is theoretically infinite, and then also your potential gain, the maximum is only 100%. Why would you want to take a bet like that at this point, right? If you use it to hedge out your portfolio, that may make some sense, because when you short things, you need to take a very small position unless you have a very tight stop loss, right? Which is absolutely impossible in a stock like this, right? Basically, if you short even here and then you put a stop loss, by the time 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, you already lost your short position, right? So I don't see the point in doing that either, unless it goes to $1,000 and then there's a 10% fee to borrow the shares. Then maybe I might consider using it to hedge my portfolio a bit, right? But other than that, I'm not interested, right? Because again, your max upside is 100% and your max downside is like infinite, right? So what's the point of doing it? So anyways, enough of me rambling. I basically just wanted to make this video to warn against rampant speculation, right? If you know the facts, you know all this, let's say you know the fundamentals, that they only have 80 million in revenue, but you still want to speculate, right? That's perfectly fine way to make money as well, right? I wouldn't recommend anyone invest in this stock, but I think if you want to trade it or whatever, that's up to you, right? So provided you know what's your risk profile and how to trade, right, I don't think it's a bad idea at all, right? But then you can see that even though the stock is up so much today, right, so just in half an hour, intraday, right, it's down 35%, right? So after that, it ran another 100%. But are you skilled enough to catch this kind of moves, right? I'm personally not, so I'm not trading it long. In fact, if I didn't take my own advice and I just bought, right, I would have doubled my money since yesterday, right? So in a few days, I'm actually going to do an update on my Mumu portfolio. This portfolio, I started with $10,000 about last month, right? So I'll do a quick update, and I'm adding in $1,000 every month, right? So yeah, that's about all I wanted to share. If you did enjoy the video, do help me smash up the like button, hit subscribe, and also hit the bell button. With that being said, have a fantastic day ahead, and peace out.